This is all about home construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell-Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. Good morning, Randy Blake.
Good morning, Terry, and everybody out there.
That's it. Happy Saturday to my buddy over there. Nice Saturday morning. A little foggy, but it's okay. Otherwise, it's a nice Saturday morning, man.
A lot of fog. A lot of fog in July.
Apparently, it's another bean in the jar. I don't know. I don't keep up with the bean in the jar things anymore. I kind of gave up on it.
Well, I looked at a chart the other day that said we're going to have a winter.
Yeah?
Yep. Above average.
We were talking about that on the way in. Yeah. It's gonna be a nice. It's gonna be a bad winter, and hurricane season is not gonna be good. Apparently.
Well, we ain't got it yet.
Well, I don't know if you heard about this hurricane last night. Aaron became a hurricane. I don't think it's going to really do much. It's going to stay off the coast, but it's like massive, or going to be massive.
There's a big high front on the right side of it out in the Atlantic. Maybe it will stay.
Yeah, the projections I saw is not even getting close to the coast.
I think we've had enough water.
I'm okay with that. How's the hay doing, though?
That's slow.
Fair.
A lot of junk in these fields.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. So, well, there you go. You know, you can't win them all, man. Okay.
Well, considering the hurricane, we've had rains in the past where the river gets up all over the fields.
Right.
And the hay's extremely dusty. I mean, you still got to take it up.
All that, yeah.
But I've not seen any dust. It's got a little more weeds in it than normal, but that's because we're mowing so late.
Right. Well, it's been an interesting year because of the rain. I mean, it's been hot, it's been dry, it's been wet, and it's been everything.
I seen something the other day I've never seen before, and I seen a Timothy bud. And it didn't drop its seeds.
Really?
And the seeds were sprouting inside the head of the Timothy.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before.
That damp, I guess.
Yeah, with this rain and stuff, but you would have thought it would have dropped it.
Right. I like Timothy grass. Is that what you cut most of?
No, most of it's orchard grass.
Orchard grass? Orchard grass is what I was trying to grow before.
Well, orchard, fescue, Timothy, red clover.
You don't see alfalfa like you did 10 years ago.
Well, I've never dealt with alfalfa, and alfalfa can be a finicky product.
Right. I think that's part of why you don't see it as much anymore.
Because alfalfa has to be at a certain moisture just to bale it.
Yeah.
Or you knock all the leaves off of it, leaves you with nothing but stems. That's about as far as my education on it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it other than it's high in, was it calcium? I think it is. It's high in something that horses like.
Well, you can actually, it's the type of proteins in it are so high you can actually founder them with it.
That's true. That's true. You want to know what else is good for high calcium feed for, well, not for horses, but for cattle and goats. Kudzu.
Oh yeah,
it's supposed to be really good.
Down in Georgia they mow kudzu.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
5 times a year.
People mow it and bell it, and but it's an invasive species. I don't like it.
Well,
speaking of the invasive species, that lanternfly is making its rounds. I don't know if it's in the high country yet, but it's everywhere around us.
Really?
Yeah. It's an ugly little thing, too. The Japanese or Chinese lanternfly, or whatever it's called. Asian lantern, I don't know. It's the lanternfly. It's a crazy looking
well, as long as we're shipping stuff from all around the world in here.
Oh, it's not.
We're going to get every critter there is around the world.
But it's super invasive. It's made it into the Carolinas and up into Virginia, Tennessee.
Wow. What about that weird worm that you cut in two and it grows back in Virginia?
Yeah. I don't know. We give up. I mean, you're going to just, every plant's going to die, I guess.
Well,
no more orchards, no more food. Let's all run for the hills.
It ain't going to do no good. It's going to follow you up here, too.
No, but it is crazy, and I hate to see it. I mean, we've talked a lot about the, like just not long ago we were talking about the ash trees and stuff. Like, it's a shame to see all those diseases and insects and stuff.
Ash boreworm's been coming up more on the internet.
Yep.
And, I don't know if I've ever really seen one.
Right.
I know that I've, cut trees down and the bark's dry, and you peel it off and it looks like it's had a worm under it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's
I'm assuming
moving
that's what
on
it
to
is,
other
right?
trees.
Well, I don't know. I mean, well, then it wouldn't be the ash borer. It would be like the oak borer,
Well, there ain't a lot of
the
ash around
maple
anymore.
borer. I know. It's killed it all. I like ash trees, though. Anyway, enough about ash and oak. And let's get into to all about home construction. What do you think?
Oh, well, let's not forget the VFW.
That's right. Tonight, the VFW has their the pig picking, right?
Yeah.
Nice. You said they were out there last night getting everything going on the grill and the smoker.
Yep. And this is Chuck Wright's doing the pig.
Nice.
It's been a long time since he's done a pig.
Been what, 5 years, 6 years?
Probably.
I don't remember him doing it since COVID. Maybe he did.
No, I don't. I think it was before COVID.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was before.
That was the hog I donated.
Yep.
And we had to cut 8
Yep.
inches off its leg to get it on the grill.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Randy grows big hogs, apparently. You hadn't grown one since.
Well, no, I'm getting older now.
I guess. You need another pork chop.
No, you can go to the store and buy them now.
What about hash browns?
Well, you can buy your own taters and make them.
Wasn't that your cow's name?
Yep, hash brown.
Yeah, see, we need more hash brown. We need hash brown .2.
Yes, and we do name all of our critters that we're going to eat.
Hey, as long as you take care of them. I mean, it's you go to the grocery store and you buy them, you might as well buy what you raise.
That's like we took hash brown to the slaughterhouse and backed up there, and I said, opened the door and said, "Come on, hash brown." And he looked at me so funny, and he said, "Do you think I want to go in there with all them pigs in there squealing?" They probably had 20
Yep.
hogs about 250 pounds of fighting with each other, and I went in there and tapped him on the butt and said, "Come on, boy."
They walked right in.
And walked right in. Now that's the way you want to train your critters.
Well, you know where the meat's coming from. Then you know you're feeding your family healthy. So
Well,
that's
it
what
is.
it's all about.
And the pH gives the meat a whole different flavor of what you buy in the grocery store.
It's the love.
Correct.
The love gives it more flavor.
You know, at least you can hug your critter before it goes. You can't hug lettuce.
Right. I mean, I try. I like lettuce too. Now, don't get me wrong. Now,
Well, do you talk to them?
I play rock and roll music for it.
I heard it only responds to orchestra music.
Just depends. Actually, I was reading a thing about that on flowering plants. Like, there's some truth to that, and like they finally figured it out. It's because of the vibrations. It's the certain frequencies that it give off. That like certain orchestral music gives off certain frequencies, and it like stimulates the trees just like the wind or the birds chirping does.
Yeah.
And that's what causes them to grow. So like the birds chirping in the morning, like their frequencies like wake up, I guess you'd say, the trees and plants. And that's like part of it. And that's why I'm playing music to your plants works.
Good.
So it's pretty random stuff for you, but there you go. Play music to your trees and your plants.
I think National Geographic had a special on that in the 60s.
Yeah, well, I've never watched National Geographic. Okay, I read the internet. It didn't let me down. I don't watch TV. I read. You should try it.
I do read. I'm reading now.
Everyone who knows me is like, he doesn't read books. He just pretends to.
I ain't read a book in a while.
I had a book the other day I was reading.
Well, I do have to do a lot of studying anyhow.
I read like 3 pages in a book, man. I read a whole chapter, actually. Let's not go too far. Had some cool
A
pictures.
whole chapter? Was it 4 pages or 100?
Had some cool pictures. My problem is I don't have time to sit down and read a book. It's just easier to read on my phone. 'Cause
Yeah,
I can scroll.
that's something I can't do. I have a hard time reading on my Kindle
Yeah.
because I have a lot of Kindle books, and I have the biggest Kindle you can get.
Well, hit play and let it read to you.
Now you got to pay $4.69 a month for that.
Cheap over there. Cheap. Come on, you own your own business. You're supposed to be rich. That's what everybody says. You own your own business, you're rich.
What'd you say?
I mean, who cares how many hours a day you work? Anyway, all right, enough about that. All about home construction. We do appreciate all of our listeners out there and appreciate all the people who have reached out and checked in on us and stuff, and all about home construction at gmail.com on the on the Facebook page, all about home construction. Send us some messages that way. All right. So the last several weeks, we've kind of jumped around a little bit and talked about after retaining walls, we jumped in on floor joists last time. Talking about the spans and things like that of just typical floor or traditional, I should say, floor joist. So I guess now that we should maybe jump into these things called trusses.
Yep.
So floor trusses, now not to be mixed up with roof trusses, right?
Right.
Floor trusses are, I guess, serve the same purpose as a floor joist. I mean, in that it's that engineered that structural component, right?
Yep.
That holds up the house, if you will. But the trusses themselves are going to be an engineered component.
Yes, it is, and you just can't build your floor trusses. You have to have them engineered.
Well, and I've seen, I've always wondered that because, like, you see them and they look fairly easy to make in terms of, I mean, if you're building a house, like, you just cut things and put those little fasteners in between it and you got a floor truss, right? But there's actually a lot of science and a lot of math that go into building an actual floor truss.
Correct. Well, the floor truss allows you to do a lot of things that the floor joist wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Like in a floor joist home, your ductwork for your furnace would be hanging down.
Right.
With a floor truss, it'd be on the inside.
I was going to say, they build those, what's the word I'm looking for? Not channels. Chases. That's the word I'm looking for. So you can put in a floor truss and you add a chase section in there, and essentially you're creating this route for all your HVAC, your plumbing, your electrical, like all that stuff. And again, the advantage is if for instance, let's say you put this on the main floor. Now your basement, you're not taking up headroom for things like ductwork.
Correct. And but we helped a guy one time, or I did, and he decided that he didn't need anything but a 12-inch floor truss. And I'm going, who designed this floor system? He said, I did. And this is what I specifically ordered. I said, well, in a 12-inch floor truss, you can't get your 3-inch plumbing lines in it.
Right.
Because of the sweep, it sticks down.
Okay.
So, and we was talking about a job that we're getting ready to work on, or it's in the process of being drawn, and the guy wants to add a bathroom, but he wants, we have to go with a 14-inch floor truss because of the sweep, it comes down for your toilets.
So, that makes sense. So it's not the live load and the dead load, right? But, in other words, like a 12-inch floor truss will span, depends on the center, like 16-inch centers, though, you're going to get about 22 feet, right?
Correct.
And so, like, yes, a 12-inch will work in terms of being structure, being sound. But when you start factoring in other things, right, that's why you would bump up to, say, a 14 or a 16-inch.
Yeah, and depends on, your furnace and stuff like that. I've got a furnace, but what happens eventually if you want a furnace?
Right. Well, I guess my question is, why would you not want to go with the larger? Okay, let's say so they start at 9 inches, right? Like 9 inches is kind of the small, if you will, truss.
Correct.
Well,
I had the span chart somewhere on the 9.
So if you put that in, right, the chart I'm looking at here says 12 inches on center, 19 feet 8 inches. But then you go all the way up to 24 inches on center, and you've got 15 feet 4 inches.
Yeah.
Well, why would you not want to jump up to, like, say, a 14 and then start putting them at 24 inches on center versus, like, for instance, a 9?
Well, one thing
12
about it,
inches on
think about you're going from 9 1/4 to a 14. That's going to add a run of siding all the way around your house.
I didn't think of that. Okay.
And probably another couple sheets of plywood to go around it, whatever product you use for your sheeting.
So that's the trade.
But you know, as we discussed on the floor joists in the last show, not the last show, time before, it depends on your deflection that you want to accomplish in your floor system.
Right.
You know, instead of walking through your house going boing boing boing.
Yep. Well, and that's the main thing, right? Like, but a floor truss is going to automatically be less deflection than a joist, right?
Correct.
Just because of the engineering. I mean, it's balancing that load through other components.
Correct. Well, you know, it says 11/7/8 truss depth.
Yeah.
It is 11/7/8. Unlike a floor 2x12 is 11 1/4.
Okay.
You know, the nominal.
Yep. Yep.
And me myself personally, I'd rather spend a little more money on a stiffer truss, or like we talked about floor joists going up in size than floor joists, and for the deflection, because like that 9 1/4 truss depth he's talking about, that is a L over 360, and this chart actually has L over 480, and which is a lot better if you could get it. And to give you an idea, building that truss, that 9 1/4 truss out of 3x2 lumber instead of 2x4 lumber on 16-inch centers, that will span on a L360 15 foot 9 inches. L over 480 is 14 foot 11 inches. See, so you're dropping 9, 10 inches there off the length of it to add to the strength of it.
Right.
Now, a 2x4 truss, the same way on 16-inch centers, L over 360 be 19 foot 1 inch.
Okay.
All right? But L over 480 is 17 foot 3 inches. And I'd rather have the stiffer truss myself. But if you want to turn around and go up to 11 1/4, and you can span 18 foot 9 inches on 16-inch centers on L over 360, or 18 foot 1 inch L over 480. And that truss is not going to be that much more than the 9 1/4, but you get better depth.
Right. I'm following you.
You know, I know you've been in houses where the floor bounces. Everybody has. And if you got a house this is one thing I disagree with the state, because everything now is L over 360.
Right.
Not L over 480 or L over 910. So
I'm with you. All right. Let's take a break and we'll get back into what those LO over means. How's that? Thanks for listening to us. We'll be right back. Are you looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment you need to get the job done? Look no further than Blue Ridge Sawmills. We offer the full line of Hudson sawmills and sawmilling equipment, from portable sawmills to skidding winches. At Blue Ridge Sawmills, we understand that every project is different, which is why we offer a wide range of sawmilling services. We can help you from everything from finding the right mill for your farm, hobby, or even your business. We also offer a variety of sawmilling supplies such as blades and debarkers, so you can get everything you need in one place. If you're looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment and the service you need, then come to Blue Ridge Sawmills. We're here to help you get the job done. Call or visit our Cana, Virginia store at 276-755-3833 or our Asheboro, North Carolina location at 336-964-8304. That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for listening to the podcast All About Home Construction. Share this with more friends. do the whole like and comment thing because it actually makes a difference. And we appreciate everybody out there. And hey, don't forget, Randy, the pig picking tonight over at the VFW. They're fixing a pig as we speak.
Yep.
So get on over there tonight and check that out.
Now, this pig did not have a name.
Well, it may have had a name.
I doubt it.
You don't know if it had a name.
No, I just say I don't think it would.
Well, I'm sure it tastes good. It will. So, but no, seriously, get on over there and say hello to them, and then they'll hook you up with some good food this afternoon, this evening. So, talking a little bit about floor truss here on All About Home Construction. So I'm gonna back up just a second here. When we compare floor joist to or trusses to traditional joists, right? Things like I-joists are going to be lighter and stuff. And so if you're doing a small section, a moderate span, right, it's going to save you a little money. But again, the floor trusses are going to allow you for this larger span, and of course the mechanical runs that we talked about.
Right.
But by the time that you look at it, right, when you comparing a traditional joist to these trusses, yes, a joist is going to be cheaper. One piece of lumber is going to be cheaper than a truss, right? Yeah. But you're going to need things like extra support and installation, and then the materials you need to install that, right? Like fasteners and cutting and drilling and all that other stuff.
Right.
So in the end, is there really a large difference in the overall cost when the project's done?
Probably as a percentage, you wouldn't notice it as much.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people have a problem is. They look at upfront cost.
Right.
Because as a rule of thumb, trusses is more expensive, but allows you to do more in your house.
Right.
All right.
Well, and that goes back to where I was trying to, I guess, beat around the bush a little bit earlier was, yes, for instance, that the example you gave, a 12-inch truss will work well structurally, but if we jump up to a 14, now we can run the mechanical stuff through there. Well, the advantage of that is that's one less truss at least. I mean, depends on how the size of the house, but you could go with a few less trusses than you would if you went with traditional joists, right?
Correct.
And so, and that's what I'm wondering if, like, at the end of the project, by the time you figure in all the extra work that you have to do with a joist, a floor truss is going to go in much easier, and you're going to have the extra space to and you don't have to go through. So think about where you're saving on for instance, let's take a plumber. A plumber's going to take a long time, and it's going to cost you more to have a plumber run the lines in a house built with floor joists versus a house built with truss.
He'll be dropping his lines underneath.
Well, that's true.
Just like your ductwork on your heating and air will be underneath on the floor joist.
But if you have and so I guess to get the equal though to have that floor space or that head space, then you would have to build it completely different and run it up top. I mean, I guess I'm trying to compare apples to apples here, and the point I'm trying to make is that trusses are in the long run is going to be a lot easier, which means on the installation side is going to save you money, which could very well offset the initial cost.
Well, most floor joists are on 16-inch centers.
Right.
I mean, you can go all the way up 24-inch centers. Most floor trusses are on 24-inch centers because you got a 3.5-inch cord on top and bottom versus 1.5 inches of a floor joist.
Right.
And that gives you a lot of room for nailing your sheeting on. Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of room for added glue.
It's true. I hadn't thought about the glue.
And to keep your floor from squeaking.
Yeah.
And that's what causes your floors to squeak is your deflection of your floor system.
Yeah.
And if you've got an L over 360 and the truss is moving, or not, the floor joist is moving, and you go ahead and put hardwoods on it, that's actually going to transfer to a squeak into your hardwoods. It doesn't make any difference how much staples you put in it or floor nails. Yeah. It's going to squeak because it's going to move.
Because it's moving, and that's what the squeak is, right? Like it's two pieces of wood rubbing together because it's moving.
And I'll give you an example. We built a steel house in 2002, totally steel frame.
Right.
And it was on 2-foot centers, and Advantech hadn't been out long, okay? And we used Advantech sheeting. Now, it is a very good sheeting, but I do not recommend it on 2-foot centers because as you could feel the deflection in that 3/4 inch sheeting between 2-foot centers.
Yeah.
You would not feel it through OSB, or you would not feel it through sturdy floor.
Right.
Plywood.
Something.
Chunky.
Yeah. Something. Yeah.
And
Stable.
but that's what the homeowner wanted. That's what we built. And then we nailed our hardwood floor down to it.
Right.
Then we had a few squeaks in it.
I'm curious over time too if you started to see a little sag in between. Looking 20 years later.
I got to go back in the house, I guess, about 8 years ago. It done been sold like 4 times.
Right.
But the people really loved the house. They said you couldn't hear nothing in it, outside.
Yeah.
And but
Well, that's because did you have to go with? We're getting off topic, but did you have to go with foam?
no,
Okay.
we actually used regular bad insulation in it.
Okay, and you still couldn't hear anything.
No, but
Okay.
we see that's the misconception about steel. Steel does have thermal problems,
Right.
Okay, but you got to break the thermal break from the outside.
Which-
we did that with blue board, but so we put 1/2 inch blue board on the outside, which is a 3.6 R value, so that kept the cold from getting to the steel joist.
Right. Right.
But between wood and steel, you got 14.5 inches of insulation between your studs. Okay, on a steel frame home, you got 15 and 15/16 of insulation
Yeah.
that's going in it, the wall. So you're filling up the whole
The
cavity.
void. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, no. But you really have to pay attention because if you don't break that thermal barrier, and they're finding out too in houses that if you don't break the thermal barrier in wood houses, that you get condensation in the walls. And that's the reason house wrap.
That's where we see that. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, going back to the trusses, the floor trusses here. So you touched on insulation there. How when it comes to the insulation on these floor trusses, let's say you're going to put this in a crawl space, right, over a crawl space, and you've got to insulate it now. Advantages or disadvantages with trusses?
Well, yeah,
versus-
there's a little disadvantage to that.
you got a larger cavity now that
That's
you're going
right.
to have to fill.
And that's extremely hard is to fill all the cavities.
But if you get it filled, I would imagine the R value is going to be better because anything you fill it with is going to be better than wood.
Correct.
Whereas a floor joist is going to have, every 16 inches, you're going to have that wood as R value.
But let's think about that now, because your cord is 3.5 inches wide. Okay, your
Yeah.
insulation is going to be 2 foot wide. It's not going to go inside the cord, so there you go. You have 1.5 inches every 2 foot. That's going to be cold on your floor.
Gotcha.
All right, so you might end up having to go back and reevaluate and use a foam insulation. That way, you get the greatest amount of R value.
Even like some type of blown in,
Well, if you can get blown in it, but
you can't really blow it in though, can
correct.
you?
So
That's true.
that's the disadvantage of a floor truss.
Okay.
But if you take a spray foam, and you really wouldn't even have to put much foam in. All you have to put would be 1 inch of foam, and that would be enough to stop the thermal.
That would give me
break.
enough R value?
No, you'd have to come back with regular bats, but that would stop the.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See, you're covering the bottom.
Yeah.
You're covering the bottom cord
'Cause
or the
now-
top cord of the floor truss.
So now you're getting okay. I see what you're saying because you're doing a thermal break with foam insulation.
Yeah. In the early 90s, Mario Andretti, the race car, and I could probably find it. I have a VH tape of him installing foam insulation in his own house, but turning around and only doing a cover. And what I mean is they covering where the sheeting touches the stud, and they're only putting like 1/2 inch to 1 inch on it, and then they're coming back and putting regular bats in the wall to cut down on the cost.
That's
but
pretty cool.
to stop the air
Right.
infiltration.
Right. Yeah. What's a VHS tape?
You know, come over with the dinosaurs.
you can't find a VCR anymore.
Well, it's hard, but yeah.
Anyway, that's
Even getting back, I even have a floppy disk.
what's that?
That's back. That come in after the VA.
Oh, actually, I like. Oh,
VHS
I missed
tape.
I missed the little 3.5-inch discs.
But I can
Lots of memories.
I have a computer with a floppy still, and I've never threw this disc away because I can. It's a Truss design disc.
I guess I was gonna go somewhere on that, but I'm not. It's early on Saturday morning. Thanks for listening to us. We'll be right back.
The Boone VFW Post 7031 is looking at making improvements to their Veterans Memorial Wall, and you can help. Here's Chuck.
We could do engraved bricks to cover the memorial. It's in honor of the veterans who have served and some that have given their all for our country. And that's the one thing that we feel as the VFW that we can do to honor those who have come before and those who are even present today.
But Chuck, what do we have to do to participate?
You don't have to be a war veteran in order to be a part of this memorial. It's just that you served.
What is the cost?
That fee is only $50, but it's a lifetime investment.
If you would like to help participate by honoring a family member, a friend, or a loved one, you can contact the Boone VFW Post 7031 at 828-264-9570. They are on VFW Drive just off of State Farm Road here in Boone. Thank you for all that have served.
That's right. All about home construction here on WATA and on the podcast, All About Home Construction. Thanks for listening to us. It's fun stuff. Talking a little bit about floor trusses on this Saturday morning. And, of course, don't forget tonight at the VFW, barbecue, pig, pork, whatever you want to call it. Good stuff over there. They're smoking and grilling it right now. I guess it's smoking. It's not really grilling, but it's on the grill smoker right now.
Yep, and his name wasn't Arnold.
His
either.
name was not. His name was Yum.
Yep.
Yummy. I like Yummy. Yummy would be a good name for a hog. Pork chop, bacon, ham. I mean, I could think of a lot of names for a hog, but that's all right. It's another show.
Like Justin Wilson, guarantee.
Anyway, for real, going up to VFW, tell them we said hello. And that'd be good stuff. So, talking a little bit about floor trusses this morning here on WATA. And again, if you want to go back and listen to the floor joist show, it's up on the podcast. You can go back and see why we're talking about trusses this morning, because we talked about floor joists before. And so it's kind of a tie into that and a segue from there. So, yeah.
Well, we're just doing adding something to your
repertoire.
Yeah, because everybody's done floor joists. I mean, golly.
Well, that's the tradition, right? But more and more we're going to trusses because, well, there's a lot of reasons. You know, in housing manufacturing, right? It seems like we're going more towards a manufactured route because it's efficient, right? I mean, whether you like modular homes or don't like modular homes, you got to admit they're more efficiently built than a site-built home, right? Because you're building them in a
Correct.
factory where you can control the environment. You're building them in a point where you can use standard sizes in materials. And we're seeing more and more in that, right? When it comes in, even into traditional building, because how many things are you getting now that like floor trusses, right? That's built off site, like components that are built off site that now you're bringing in and install it into the house versus building from scratch, right?
But you said the word right there, factory built in a controlled environment. You know, my dad worked for R&L Homes.
Right.
You know, now this was back around 2005, 6. And their plant was in Denver, North Carolina. But that house was built and it rotated.
That's the coolest thing ever.
You know, like these guys that restore cars, they got a dolly that can rotate the whole car body.
Yeah.
Well, think about a dolly that rotates the whole house.
That's the coolest.
You know, you got a 14-foot section, 14 foot wide, 8 foot with not counting the floor system, and it rotates the whole unit. That's how strong that unit is.
Yep.
Brunswick County tried to outlaw modular homes because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Well, R&L said, come on, we'll challenge you. And they challenged them.
Yeah.
Because, believe it or not, a lot of modulars, they have a steel strap that attaches to your mud seal,
Right.
but that steel strap goes all the way up the wall and crosses all the way across and back down.
So you're literally tying it down the entire.
yeah.
Not just attaching it. You're actually tying it down.
Correct. To meet the wind loads. You know, the coast has 150 mile an hour wind loads.
Yeah.
The fire tower up there has 150 mile an hour wind loads.
Right. Well, what I like about it is, again, that, and I mean, you know, say what you want about like whatever label, green building, you know, LEED, blah, blah, blah. The point is, like, nobody likes to buy something and have waste. I mean, that's pointless. Like, you know, I'm not, who buys a 2x4 to cut it in half and throw it in the dumpster, right? Like that would be wasteful. And so when you can do this offsite where that you can, you know, where things are more controlled, if you will, you're going to have less waste, which in the end is going to bring the cost of everything down, you know, it's for that project. And so whether you build it on site or in this case, purchase these floor trusses that are made.
Well, that's exactly right, because when they sat down and designed this, you know, the computer designs it, that the guy doesn't design it. And, you know, he takes your plans and he puts it in, and it calculates the load value on what you need over what you want. You want L over 360, we know is minimum code. Okay. Well, I never want a minimum code. And they don't even do L over 480 anymore.
Right.
But what you do is you change your live load. Like from a 30-pound live load to a 40-pound live load or a 50-pound live load. All right. And then that gives you the added strength that you need. Right. Even though you're adding the live load to it, the deflection will change.
Yep.
All right. So it's still a L over 360 for the span, but, you know, like we talked about a few minutes ago about a 2x4 truss over L over 360, 9.25 going 19.1 over 360, then 17.3 over L over 480. See what I'm...
Right.
So see, by your span decreasing, you're increasing the load of your house.
Right.
And making it stronger.
Well, and that's the key. And to me, the key also is floor joist. You go to the box store or the lumber yard and you get 2x whatevers, and you go and you install them. They're all the same. Whereas this is from the beginning has been planned out to the inch.
Correct.
And that's what I like is, you know, that it's built for that house. In other words, it's designed to fit that particular need. Now, I think there's probably some negative to that. If you ever want to go back in and put a stair to the basement, for instance, like you're not going to be able to just cut that out now.
No, well, they'll design it for you.
But I was going to say, like that. Yeah, that's not really. Overall, how many times does that happen, right? Like, that's not an issue. And when there is, there's workarounds.
One time, since I've been in business, have we actually cut trusses to create a stairway for a person. And that all we had done, which we didn't, all they would have had was their plans designed for that staircase. And because it comes, you have to hang a hanger on each side. Right. But most time they double a floor truss on both sides of the stairway. Right. So to carry that support of that hanger, because the floor trusses still continue on the back side.
I'm with you. Yep. So again, it's not impossible. It's just a workaround. So that's my thing is like, but again, all the other renovations that you can think of, like there's really no downside to the floor truss because we're adding an addition, so now we have to run plumbing. Well, it's going to be a lot easier to run plumbing through that than it is traditional floor joist where you have to cut things or go below it. I mean, like,
Well, it makes it easier on the subs.
I was gonna say like all around to me. I guess what I'm trying to say is like other than the initial upfront cost, which kind of said it kind of cancels out at the end or more. There's really not a lot of negatives to this, is there?
No, not really. The biggest thing is you take your plans in. They design your floor system. They also will work around your toilet.
Right.
Because you sure don't want to cut the cord,
right?
top cord on your truss
Yeah.
to accommodate your toilet. So, and if you have to move a floor truss over, they generally add a truss in.
Right.
All right. But they'll put it on your plans to show you the layout wherever one of them goes.
So it wouldn't be unusual then to have, when we say like 24 inches on center, there could be sections where you've went 16 inches. In other words, the whole house is 24 except for these 2 or 3 sections where you've went more or less
to accommodate for
plumbing or I guess walls. Would you take that?
No, not really walls.
Okay.
But toilets is a big thing.
But given what's on the floor plan, does the floor plan change the truss plan?
Yes.
So I mean,
It
if
can.
you have a large kitchen, for instance, but again, to me, that's the advantage, right? You're going to be able to get larger spans, and so you're going to get a large great room, for example, things like that.
Well, that's what you want. It's a large great
Well, that's
room.
what like you got that flexibility.
Yep.
So cool. All right, let's take our last break. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening.
Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this.
That's right. All About Home Construction here on WAATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. And share the podcast. Go back and listen to the floor joist episode if you want. Talking a little bit today about floor trusses. Don't forget VFW tonight. Go get some pork. They'll hook you up some good barbecue pork. So
Yep.
good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. So a little bit about floor trusses this morning on All About Home Construction. And yeah, I just I look through this and to me the pros outweigh the cons by far.
Correct.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, take it for what you want, right? I did come up with another con though, and that would be fire. I would imagine there's going to be more. Are you going to have to add more barriers like drywall or something
Every 20
to
feet.
make it fire? Yeah.
And you are correct on that. That is to stop any fires from going through. But what you can use Luan as your barrier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
That's-
all you want to do is stop air.
Stop it, air.
All
So
right.
yeah, Luan's pretty cheap. So that's, I mean, compared to other.
Or drywall.
Sheet products,
Because your heating and air guys got to put their ductwork through.
Right.
But generally they'll put a chase through. And but all that barrier is to stop air movement from the system.
Right.
Okay, and but you got to put you get an air stop in so far of the house, but you also got to put a shear wall so far in the house too,
Okay.
and that's another show we can talk
I
about.
was gonna say yeah.
And but that's what I was told, because we built a house 2007, 8. And Neil said, "Randy, where's your barrier?" I'm going, barrier? I hadn't heard of that one. He said, "Yeah." And good thing about it is he pulled out the code book and showed me, and he said you could even use Luan.
Right. That's good because it'll save you some money on that.
3/8 drywall will be just as cheap. And the thing about it is, with the drywall, is you could not dry tape it, but you can put the first tape on it and walk away from it, and not worry about any other coat.
Right, because you're not. The whole point is not to be. I mean, it's not visual.
Correct, because you got to unlike floor joists, you don't have to put bridging in floor joists up to a certain span now. Okay. All right, we used to bridge everything, and bridging will make your floor system stronger too, as far as deflection.
Right,
because it carries through. But with that, you got trusses, you got your stiff backs in that you have to put in. So you have to work around those with your barrier. But with the drywall, it'd be easy to tape around them.
Gotcha.
Because if you screw up, you can put a plywood patch behind it and screw it on and be done with it.
Right. Well, yeah, makes sense.
Think of this. With a floor truss, with your stiff backs in it are generally 2x4s. Mm-hmm. That carries a load in 3 trusses as you walk across the room. If you go ahead and switch your stiff backs over to 2x6s, now that spans 6 trusses.
Yeah.
And stiffens it up that much more.
Less bounce and deflection.
Yeah.
Again, you're building a sturdier house.
Correct.
With overall less material.
Yep.
So that's a plus and a plus and a plus. Kind of my point.
Well, I like floor trusses, even though you have to deal with the insulation.
Kind of like building with ICFs. Maybe we just build a house with just that. And
I like ICFs. ICFs is
so the ultimate house would be ICFs and floor trusses, and I'm assuming roof trusses when we get to that point.
Actually, you can build a whole house out of ICFs, even the ceiling.
Well, there you go.
The rafters
Well,
not.
it's called a bomb shelter.
Well, Journal of Light Construction.
That's what it is. I mean,
did put an article out. The house that withstands 250 mile an hour winds.
It's a bomb shelter. Think about it. You build a house at ICFs. It's a bomb shelter. You use traditional floor trusses in it.
Yeah.
It's not going to move.
Well,
there's nothing to move.
Correct. But you do have to put a heat exchanger in that house. Air exchanger.
Air exchanger.
Yeah.
You got enough hot air. You'll be all right.
Nah, not enough for that. That was actually a good article.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. I guess I know this is like a loaded question. You're not really going to have the answer for, but when you're planning ahead, because everything's going to be, dependent on the situation and time. But does it take a long time for these to be ordered and purchased and made? I mean, if you're planning ahead, how much longer are you going to have to anticipate with the joy with these
sometimes
trusses?
it can take up to a couple of weeks to get a quote from the truss company.
Right.
Okay, because they don't live in the build and supply. They generally come by once a week and pick up a set of plans, and they've already got plans they're working on. So
Gotcha.
A couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then delivery is generally when you order them within a week to 2 weeks. So you do have to plan a little.
But again, that's all part of the initial planning to begin with, right? Like if you is this something you would start the planning, that process, like while you're waiting on planning of inspections to approve you and things like that, or do you need to get?
You got to go ahead and have that all worked out just so you can get your cost.
Okay.
For your house.
Okay.
And that's like that booklet that the home builders put out that I send the homeowners to try to get a feel of what they want.
Right.
Because everybody's different, and we can't guess that much.
Sure.
Well, I did the math on deflection on L over 360 on a 24-foot 12 floor joist. L over 360 is supposed to be 0.06 of an inch. That's all it can be. So to get your span and your deflection, you take your length, divide it by 360, and that gives you the amount of deflection you're going to get.
What about live load and dead load?
Well, that's just what they said here. So for you to increase it, you have to make the height greater. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. Good stuff. I think it's fun. It's pretty cool stuff. Again, just sort of breaking it down a little bit. And again, I think, so many advantages. Overall cost, I think by the time you would figure out the benefits at the end of the project, when the house is done, I don't see a large cost. But just seems like so many more benefits. It's going to be stronger, less bounce, which is comfortable and structural. Just overall, it just seems like a better way to build. So I don't know. I guess that's why they're so popular. But you're even seeing these in like storage buildings and stuff. I mean, it's not this technology is taking over everywhere. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, well, good stuff, man. Don't forget to go to the VFW this evening, and grab dinner, pig barbecue on the smoker there. So,
with no name.
With no name. Yeah, you gotta have barbecue with no name. It's like a horse with no name.
Well,
can you ride the pig through the desert?
I don't know if you can or not.
No. I rode a horse through the desert once with no name.
Yeah, he was watching the American Band too, wasn't he?
It was, yeah. Of course it was. Oh. Anyway, thanks for listening to us. This will be up on the podcast for those that are listening live, and for those that are listening to the podcast, share it with more friends, and we'll keep doing it, man. It's fun stuff. So, well, Randy, thanks for telling me all about Trusses. I trust that you had a good time talking about Trusses.
I did.
See what I did there? It's good.
How about yourself?
I had a great time.
All right, good deal.
It was a very sound, structural time. No bouncing around today. Anyway, thanks for listening to us, and we'll be back next week. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast edition of All About Home Construction. We want to thank Skipper, Dave, and Bill for supporting the show. If you're enjoying this episode and you want to help us by creating some more awesome content, there are a few ways you can show your support. Subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. This actually helps us reach new listeners and climb the charts. And please share this episode with your friends and family. Word of mouth is always the best kind of advertising. You can support us directly through our page on Spotify. The links are in the show notes. Thanks for listening to us.